Welcome back to Black Talk Today podcast, and I'm your host Troy. About to get into episode 50. A lot to get into, a lot to talk about. Hope everybody's here, ready to address these topics with me. A lot going on in the world. Oh man, especially in the eastern part of the world. You got Russia invading Ukraine, and you got that going on. You got over here in the western part of the world, gas prices is high. The highest I've seen it so far was about $6 a gallon for gasoline. And I don't see any end in sight as far as the inflation, everything that's going on in this country. Right now, we got a president in office that we just don't connect with, or at least I don't connect with. Don't see what he's doing, doesn't see the road to prosperity for the American people. So you got that going on. Hell, me and my lady had to start shopping at BJ's now instead of going to the local supermarket to get food because it's too expensive. It's way too expensive at your local supermarket chain. You might as well just go to BJ's, buy it in bulk or whatever you want, whatever you get, because everything is going up. Everything is going up. Also celebrated a birthday with my lady. How you doing, baby? Had a great time, great experience. Bought her some gold for her birthday. And I'm sure she's happy that she got it. Cost me a grip. Even gold is going up during this time. So, you know, and I don't want to come over here complaining about things as if my life is so hard, because I know there's somebody out there that got way harder times and turmoil that they are possibly dealing with. Again, I am grateful for where I'm at in life and what's going on. Nothing but on the road to prosperity. And it's going to take some time to get there, but ultimately we all get there. We continue to keep our head down and do the work. So yeah, man. Apparently Ukrainians, or the state of Ukraine, or the country of Ukraine, excuse me, they want the African migrants to fight for Ukraine while being discriminated against. I did a video over at Black Talk Today talking about this. And of course, didn't get much black support. We worried about what rappers are beefing, how many points LeBron James scoring, the latest spring attire that's coming out, and who's twerking ass. But we got more pressing issues that we really need to address, and we got our brothers and sisters that's living in Ukraine, and they getting hell, a lot of mistreatment. Again, the media is not going to report this the way that we needed to have it reported. They're going to try to sweep this under the rug as if this isn't an issue. But there's so many reports of discrimination that African migrants, including Indian migrants that are there, students on visas, some refugees, are experiencing at the hands of Ukrainian government officials. Reports of African women being told that they have to wait to check through the border because Ukrainian people have priority. Black people being shot at while attempting to board trains at the border to go into neighboring countries. Yeah, these things are going on. Things are going on in Europe right now. In a way that the reporting that we're seeing being reported in Europe is that, these Ukrainians, now that they're having to flee their country, not that that's a good thing, but also they're highlighting that they're white, they're Christian, they're middle class people, they're like me and you. No, they're not refugees. Yes, they are refugees. If you're fleeing your country and going to another country, you are a refugee at that point in time. The thing is, I didn't see the same kind of support and the same kind of branding of the situation when right? The Palestinians were going through what they were going through. The Syrians were going through what they were going through. The African migrants were going through what they was going through. Europe didn't want to have their doors open and their arms open for Africans. And now they're being discriminated against. And now they're being told, hey, you have to fight for Ukraine. And again, I see the brothers over there in Africa got really good sense because they're like, we ain't fighting for shit. And I wouldn't fight for shit either. Somebody discriminated against me for the color of my skin still in 2022. And then now Russia about to kick they back in. I'm going to fight for you? Please. You better go fight for yourself. You better hope I don't pick up arms and join and become an ally of Russia. Listen, man, if you're doing business with Ukraine, you're doing business with any European nation that isn't supportive of your coalition or your group, stop doing business with them. And that's what we Africans got to start doing also here in America. We got to start looking out for our group, looking out for our tribe, looking out for the best interests of black people. Stop thinking like less individuals, but more like a group. Because what I've seen going on over there in Europe and what European whites have showed me during this Russian-Ukrainian debacle is that when it comes time to look out for yours and look out for people that look like you, that you can identify with, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no bank account or tally that they wouldn't break and pay out to ensure that their people are treated well, respected, and given the best of the best, and they will stand by and assist their own. But I see time and time again, especially here in this country, we don't have that same kind of on-code understanding. And that's why I tell blacks all the time, we have to get on code. If you're not willing to get on code, you're not an ally to the black culture. You're not an ally to the black group. If you're not thinking for the best interests of us all and what's going to work for us all and not think for the individual gain, then you're just as worse as anybody else who's not an ally to what we need to get done for us. And I see far too many people, particularly blacks, in support of Ukraine, while Ukraine is in support of Africans. And again, this is a double war. Well, you can say this is a war on two fronts. You got the racial component, you got the discrimination component of it, right? But then you got also the genocidal component of it. Because in all reality, Ukraine is Russia. Russia is Ukraine. These are the very same people. Ukraine was at one point in time part of the Soviet Union. So this isn't two foreign people, two foreign groups that don't have an understanding of each other. No, very same people. Big banks take a little bank. Happens all the time in this country. We just don't have the bullets flying and, bombs dropping in the middle of the street. I got the big stick, you got a smaller stick. Your small stick can't beat my big stick, you lose. Just the way of the world. It's just the way of the world. So my thing is now, of course, in America, the western part of the world, what's going to happen? We're going to get a bunch of Ukrainians. Ukrainians that's going to come over here, that's going to, live off my tax-paying dollars. See, the thing is, right, there's always a double standard in the way things are reported, especially by the dominant race. And the dominant race happens to be white folks. So, of course, when the immigrants from Ukraine come to America or whatever adjacent city that they go to, they're not going to be looked at as lesser than the people that originally are there now. No, they're going to be looked at as equal. They're going to be afforded every opportunity, right? They're not going to be the others in that country. No, they're going to be able to fall right in to assimilate into society. But whenever anybody that's non-Anglo-Saxon, you're going to get this inferior treatment. Israel been kicking in the back of the Palestinians for how long now? The same shit that Russia is doing to, right, Ukraine, bombing buildings, killing innocent people, things of that nature. Well, that's what the Israelis been doing, right, to the Palestinians for how long now? NATO didn't step in between. NATO haven't mentioned anything yet. They haven't sanctioned the Israeli nation at all for anything that they're doing. Oh, but now you have genocide. You got white on white crime, white on white war. Now these white lives are more sacred than the lives of the other people from other countries, but because they're brown, they don't look like you, they don't practice the same religion you practice. Oh, it's easy for you to turn your eye. It's easy for you to say, look, they got to figure it out. Hey, you're going to label them, or they're jihadists, or they're terrorists. No, those are good people over there too. Those are middle class people over there too. They just happen to speak a different language and don't look like you. I'm saying all that to say this. Biases are never going to go anywhere. They exist. They're not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, and I'll say this to my last breath, human beings are more tribal than you think. Actually, we are tribal. And we need to start embracing that. Because it seems here in America, particularly from what I've seen, black people are the only people who are afraid to look out for the best interests of black people. I've seen Irish people, Italian people, Indian people, Hispanic people, unapologetic when it comes to doing what's in the best interest of their group. Even if it's not in the interest of you, they don't give a damn. And black people need to develop a superiority complex just like everybody else. Everybody else, all these other groups have superiority complexes that they are willing to show and not be apologetic about, and don't give a damn about public shaming. They just do what they do. And that's why we remain at the bottom, because we're so concerned about, oh, what this person's going to say about me, what this person's going to feel about me. If I do this, how this is going to look, how that's going to look. Well, let me tell you something. Everybody else don't give a damn about how they look, so why should we? And while I would never sit here and say we need to be prejudiced against anybody, nah, that's not the message I'm spewing here. What I'm spewing is self-preservation. What I'm proposing is self-preservation for us Africans. And at the end of the day, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Who wants to do it? Who has the balls to do it? We keep looking for this savior from outside ourselves to come and help us, to assist us, but you not willing to help yourself. So that's the catch-22 we find ourselves in. And this Ukrainian situation is just a microcosm, again, of what's going on really in the real world. We are still considered less than human beings. We're still considered less than any other group because we don't stick together. Most importantly, you think racism is an American thing? You think we coined that? It's all over the place. It's a global mindset that a lot of countries and nations have. And I'm not going to say all nations are against black. I'm not going to say all white European nations are anti-black and anti-African and they just see us as less. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, when you see it, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't see it. When someone's doing it, I'm not going to turn my head and say, well, not all of them do it. Not all of them don't do it. Well, I got to overlook this. No, when you do it, I'm going to call it out. Because it's important that we do that. We got to hold people accountable for the shit that they do. And if you don't, then I don't know what world you want to live in. I don't know what to tell folks. I'm black before I'm anything. Before I'm anything else, I'm black. And the world has made sure that that's ingrained in my head, that I remember that I'm black. By the treatment that I receive and the indifference and the lack of empathy that a lot of folks still have for us. So, yeah, the same shit that's going on here in this nation, I'm not surprised to hear that it's been going on in Europe too. But Ukrainians are bugging. If you think you're going to be able to sit here and tell Africans to fight the Russians on your behalf. No, don't flee your country. Fight for your shit. That's so tough, right? Fight for your shit. When I was growing up in New York City, when you was a kid, if you didn't have heart, you couldn't come outside, because at some point in time, it's bound for you to have some type of conflict with another youth, whether it's on a basketball court playing basketball and you foul them too hard, or you do something that, someone doesn't like. You displease them. that kid might just get up and knock the hell out of you. And what, you gonna go upstairs and run and hide? You live on this block. You're gonna have to see this individual every day. So what I learned early as a kid was that you got to stand for your crown. You got to get down for your crown. You can't be a sucker out here, B. You got to stand for what you believe in, and you got to let folks know that you ready to bust a motherfucker head if they cross you the wrong way. That's how I was growing up in New York City. And I'm saying not to say this. All this running and hiding and looking for other nations to take you in. And what I keep hearing is that Ukrainian people, you know, they're so sophisticated, they're so intelligent. Well, then if you're so intelligent, you would know that running is going to defeat the purpose of what you are attempting to accomplish. And you're attempting to accomplish to keep your country, right? Well, you got to fight. Shed some blood. You got to go. But don't sit here and tell me that, well, now y'all refugees, I need to have pity on you now. I need to look down on Russia because you don't want to put up your hands and fight. You don't want to stay and defend your land that you love so much. But you got the nerve to go tell foreigners who are there on student visas to fight for your country. You got the nerve to sit here and deny women and children the right to leave the country at a timely manner because they're not Ukrainian, they're not white, blue-eyed, blonde hair. They gotta wait, get to the back of the bus type shit. I would never co-sign that. I don't know what folks think. I don't know if they're smoking dope or I don't know what it is. But what makes you think that I was gonna sit here and co-sign anything on that matter? Especially going down that road. Absolutely not. I'm gonna call that shit out every day of the week. So who's our allies? In all reality, who's our allies in this country? Not only in here in America, but also in Europe. We don't have any allies. We don't have many. And we need to realize that sooner than later. Discrimination, racism, prejudice, that's not going to go away anytime soon. That shit is here to stay. We might want to act like it's far beyond our understanding and intelligence and the way we live. No, it's right up in our wheelhouse still. Still something that we cool with. Easy like Sunday morning. Don't mind discriminating against folks that have less power, who are more vulnerable, who have less than you, who don't look like you. I tell blacks all the time, man, you got to stop turning the cheek. Stop calling everybody your brother. Stop calling everybody your sister that ain't your sister, especially if they don't identify with your culture and respect your culture and respect your group. Got to go back to old school rules, man. Stop looking for approval of other people who have been disapproving you for millenniums. Have been giving you their ass to kiss for millenniums. Refugee country, y'all fleeing your country and you got the nerve to be racist still. Ain't that a bitch? The audacity. I can't get on the train to leave the country. Russia's kicking in your back. But yeah, you still got the energy to still tell a black person, get to the back of the line or go fight for Ukraine. So once they fight for Ukraine, then what? And risk their lives and die, then what? How are you going to award them? You were just discriminated against them. They're human beings just like you. You don't think they're scared, that they fear what Russia's going to do to them, that they don't want to die? But see, again, it goes back to the psyche of people. And I say this all the time. It goes back to the psyche of what people think of you and how much they value you. And it's clearly that we're not really valued like that. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted by that. I'm also disgusted by the fact that during the NFL Super Bowl weekend and the day of the Super Bowl, they had all these black entertainers performing at the Super Bowl. Right in the sunset of Brian Flores' lawsuit that he filed against the NFL alleging discrimination. And then the NFL can always find some token Negroes that's going to go up there and do the bidding for white folks. Instead of standing together in solidarity and unity, you're always going to find some Negro that's willing to go against the grain and not be on code. I said in a video recently, too, that if you want to change your position in your place, whether it's at work, start your own shit. Bob Marley said all the time, you want to win the race, stop running. Because it takes two people to race. And if the decks are stacked against you in your favor to lose that race every time, just stop running. I'll tell you, man, we can be, and when I say we black folks, we can be as so forgiving of people and the transgressions that they commit against us. It's downright scary. You can whip us, starve us, enslave us, rape us, disenfranchise us in every which way, and we'll find our way in our mind and psyche to come around to forgiving them for the very same people that have been committing these transgressions against you. The NFL is a joke. And again, do you need someone else to lose their career or lose their possibly of earning generational wealth by pointing this out? So I'll take the hit. Others like myself will take the hit. We'll say the things that folks are afraid to say or just feel it's too PC to really address it in a way that it needs the addressing. But again, truth does not need to be defended. It stands on its own. You can't do anything about that. And this is where we at. The NFL is a joke. It will not own up to its systematic racism either. See, this is a well-woven, systematic system that you have in place that there's one particular group that is okay with it and benefit from that. And while the other group are going to take the brunt of this entire system. And we've been taking the brunt. It's about time that we let somebody else deal with that. And again, we need to be our own saviors. We need to be our own allies. We need to be our own communities and groups that when we or one fall down, there's someone that's there to pick us up. Because I see, again, I just tell you, man, it's sad and it's beautiful at the same time to see how Europe is responding, right, to this situation that's going on in Ukraine. The solidarity, the commitment, you know what I mean? The empathy. It's just a beautiful thing to see. I said, damn, you got the reporters on TV saying these are blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. They're middle class like you and me. We gotta help them. They're Christian. They can be your next door neighbors. So we can't be your next door neighbor? Hell, look how we were treated when Hurricane Katrina dropped. So far what's been reported is that 2 million refugees have fled Ukraine. So say the UN. And we know America's really the UN. We put more skin in the game than anybody else, but that's for a whole nother video. But President Biden is expected to ban the importation of Russian oil into the U.S., a senior official said. The move comes from a bipartisan pressure to punish Russia. Well, how long do you think that punishment is going to last? We need oil. There's an oil crisis, a fossil fuel crisis right now. Like I mentioned in the video, gas is rising, and so is the cost of everything else. So you think this is going to be a long ban, especially when it comes to the importing of this particular mineral, which is oil? So for sure, man. All show, man. Goddamn, in California, gas is $6.19 a goddamn gallon. I don't hear any stipends that the president is looking to assist the American people with to take the burden off their back, because if you got to pay $6 a gallon for fuel, and listen, I was out in Cali late last year, and I believe gas is like 4 and change, and I thought that was even high. But at $6 a gallon, and the president still doesn't say anything, doesn't want to address this particular issue. It's a downright shame, and I don't like it. It's very interesting, but something got to change. You know, again, I wish we lived in a world where we don't have to talk about this stuff. But this is the world we live in, and we got to make the best of it while we're here. And the only way we're going to make the best of it while we're here as human beings, got to work together. We got to get on the accord as if there was an alien race attacking Earth. And these motherfuckers had two heads, green skin, 3 fingers, and 4 legs. They got to look so abnormal than what we've ever seen that we come together and band together as a race of human beings, regardless of your skin color, your ethnic background, the language that you spoke. Did you drink Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts? Regardless of any of that shit, we just come together for the sake of humanity. That's the kind of unity we need, but unfortunately, that's the kind of event we're going to need to mount something of that nature to occur. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But I think if it's going to happen, I hope it happens rather sooner than later. Because we got children, we got generations that are coming up behind us that need proper support, proper guidance. And educating them is key on that. So, back to worldly news, hip-hop news, black news, rap news. The Game, 50 Cent are beefing apparently. Again, these are like 45, 50-year-old men talking about they outside. It's the lamest shit. I think rappers are some of the lamest people, some of them, that promotes violence in music and seeks violence from other rappers. It's dumb. I'm not saying in other industries of music there's not squabbles and beefs that different groups and bands have, but it's never to the extent where it's a personal one where somebody has to die. I've never seen a rock and roll band tell another rock and roll band, I'm gonna kill you. I don't like you that much, but when I see you, it's on sight. We're just so ready to commit genocide and so homicidal when it comes to using words, because I say it has to contribute to a lot to our emotional rearing and upbringing. The fact that we grow up solely and predominantly under our mama's titty, and we never get to see a male role model in our home, maybe until we're, mid 11 and 12 years old when we go into high school, and we don't know how to deal with authority. We don't know how to deal with, that kind of issue. And again, it's our issue. But this is what it is. I just find it that there has to be something that changes the narrative and the way people feel about each other in their hearts. And maybe this might be pie in the sky. You know what I mean? This might be something that will never happen. But I would like to think and assume that it will at one point. But grown-ass 40, 50-year-old men beefing, knowing that there's another generation coming up behind you, see how you senior men conduct yourself and carry yourselves. I can only imagine how the next generation will be. I probably won't be around because I'll probably be too damn old and dead and gone. I would like to see how this next generation responds to the road that we have paid for them to drive on and to move around on. Because it hasn't been a good one. That's just my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. And shout out to Ford. I know this is so off topic. But shout out to Ford. Shout out to GMC. They're going to be rolling out a system very soon where Customers can buy their vehicles directly through them online, cutting out the dealership and the dealer markups and everything like that. You know, when you buy a vehicle today, especially right now in this day and time, the dealers marking these vehicles up astronomical prices. And unfortunately, what's happening is these models and these vehicles that then just sit on the lot and they just rot because consumers are not willing to buy these $20,000-$30,000 add-on costs to a vehicle that you know damn well costs you maybe $10,000, and now you got $20,000 worth of add-ons, and now the vehicle's $30,000. It's just not feasible and realistic to think that that kind of, system can continue to exist the way it has, because it's just not equitable in a sense, because you feel like you're being ripped off. I'm supposed to be getting my GMC Sierra 1500. I want to say, hopefully, fingers crossed, by June. They're supposed to have taken my vehicle in by the end of this week to start the build. So, and I hear it takes about a week to build the truck. And then after that, the time that it's going to take to get them to ship to me is going to be a couple of months, which I still don't understand. It don't take you a couple of months to drop a vehicle off, but that's just neither here or there. I think this is a good idea that dealers going forward are going to start doing. Allow you to order and buy your vehicle online, spec it out the way you want, and then just go to the dealerships for ancillary work, oil changes, things of that nature, installing kits and whatever proprietary accessories that you may want for your vehicle. I think that's a very, very smart thing, a way to go about undercutting the car manufacturer business, because their overhead is so great. They got to figure out a way to compensate for that. And by selling me a truck that's $15,000, $20,000 more than what it's really worth does me no service. But I want folks to understand that. I want folks to really grasp that idea, because if you can't grasp it, then I don't know what to tell you. But that's, again, I went on a bit of a tangent. Shout out to GMC. Can't wait to get my truck if they're watching this. Keisha Coles recently opened up in an article stating that she used to be friends, very, very, very close friends, with Eve, the rapper. But she shared one time while her and Eve were out, I guess a fan attempted to grab Eve's purse, and Keisha Coles just went up and slapped the shit out of her. And ever since that day, Eve said that she cannot hang out with Keisha Coles because she's too ghetto. She's too violent. There's nothing feminine about her. She has a lot of masculine traits. And I guess she's crying the blues now because I guess she won her best friend back. But at the end of the day, when you're a grown adult, you got to conduct yourself like a grown adult should. There should be no kind of turmoil or issues or smoke like that when you're a grown adult. Put your hands on somebody. See, but what's crazy is that the modern women today in this society we live in, they make it okay for a woman to put her hands on a man because, for one, 9 out of 10, they know a man is not going to cry. You're bigger than the man is bigger than you, so you're probably not going to really, depending on how you attack them, if it's with just your hands, and you're probably not going to hurt them to the degree where they acknowledge you. But the whole point I'm saying that is to say this is that there's a double standard even in that. A man can't sit here and retaliate against a woman if she assaults him, because then they say, aren't you a man? You're bigger, stronger. But a woman can do it whenever she feels disrespected and gets the support by other women. And those women do not say all women need to keep their hands to themselves. They do not say that shit. So it's a double standard we live in right now. And this double standard is driving the wedge between black men and black women. That's what's the real culprit in this entire thing. There's no balance within our race. There's no balance within our culture. And we expect our culture to be great and continue on. This is not how it works. But that's just my personal opinion about that. Again, if you're African and you in Ukraine, get the hell out. Get the hell out. Also, what's been reported is that tens of thousands of Ukrainians are without food, water, and power. I'm sure they're going to lead the country. I'm sure they're going to, I can guarantee it. There's not going to be a shortage of food and shelter for these Ukrainian immigrants. I can almost guarantee it. Because they don't look like me. They don't look like a Middle Eastern man. See, when you can see yourself in a group, you can self-identify. And then that empathy can come out naturally, like the way it should. But I don't think that it should take for you to have to see someone that looks like you or identify with somebody that speaks the same language that you speak for you to offer them a slice of bread, something to eat, a safe haven. Because I've seen people do it for other groups, and that group have no kind of connection or no affiliation with them. But for whatever reason, when it comes to us, we just got to be, side-eye, sized up, and, it's what it is. That's my personal opinion. But guys, this is Black Talk Today podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be bringing my young bull on real soon. I miss my guy. I got to get in touch with him. My young cat, my young bull, very smart brother, very intelligent man. And I'm going to give him his run and let him speak on stuff he needs to speak on, because I think we also, as men, we also got to give the microphone sometimes to our youth and let them get their shit off. Let them know what they've been going through and experiences, things of that nature, because they can give us insight that we might not necessarily be able to get or understand, because it's their generation that they grew up in and living through. So I think elevating our youth with positivity, right? Not just with things that are ancillary, things that are actually going to be transformable to their lives and in the way that they think. I think that's a very bright future that we're going to have for us ahead to look forward to going forward. So I'm going to be bringing in my young bull maybe next week. We're going to be doing some videos with me. We're going to be going back and forth and stuff like that. And I look forward to that. But listen, guys, I'm Troy. This is Black Talk Today podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share the video. Every donation helps. Every like helps. Attempting to grow this channel into what it really needs to be. But the only way I can do that is with you, the viewer, and the subscriber. I'll catch you guys in the next podcast next week. Podcast 40 here. 41 to come. Peace.